Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here with me today for this short reading. Actually, I don't even like to refer to it as a reading because I mostly prefer to refer to it as a kind of a tarot coaching, in terms of that I don't really believe that the cards are telling us the future. I know it goes against many other beliefs, but what I believe is the cards can show us some tendencies and can help us ask really good questions about our situations, or in general, thought-provoking questions. So I will invite you in just a moment to pick your pile and we'll explore the question that you have in mind together. So you can choose the pile number 1, number 2, or number 3, and we'll go from there. Okay, great. So let's put these two piles away for now. And we'll start with the pile number 1. And we'll shuffle it a little bit more. I hope you have a question in mind that you'd like to reflect on. And if you don't, it's okay too. You can always ask a general question as, what is it that I need to know right now? And you'll get your wonderful questions that are very much unique to you and your situation. Okay, so let's explore your question and let's see. Woohoo! The Lovers. That's beautiful. And the Queen of Cups. So probably your question is related to relationships. Or not necessarily. It might be related to something that involves a partnership. So sometimes it can be even a business partnership. So disregard the overly romantic image on this card. It can mean a business partnership as well. And however, probably it's more about relationship though, because the Queen of Cups has to do with feelings and emotions. And if it's something that resonates with you, I invite you to watch forward. If it's something that does not resonate, it's okay to skip. But don't do this, it hurts my YouTube statistics, okay? Just joking. So probably your question would be around the lines that whether this relationship is going to flourish, whether it's a business or a family relationship or a romantic relationship. And probably you are feeling some sort of a need to be more patient, or maybe you are feeling that you are being too patient with it. So let's see, probably your goal is to see this situation evolve somehow. Maybe you feel it's a bit stagnant, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable, and you are looking into some sort of improvement in this situation. And it feels like the obstacle is unclear. It's more like under surface. It's something that you don't know. And maybe you are not maybe you don't trust your intuition enough. You're kind of like a logical person who likes facts and clear answers and direct communication, but it's not how it works sometimes. So maybe your gut feeling is telling you something different. So my question would be for you, what is it that your intuition is telling you about the situation? What benefit can you get from listening to your intuition, to your other mind? And how can this whole situation benefit from you listening to your intuition? Because your strength is actually to give guidance to other people or to receive guidance. So maybe you're really good at telling other people about giving other people a new perspective about their situations. Maybe people are seeking actively your opinion and your advice when it comes to different situations, maybe even emotion related situations. So this might be your strength. Maybe you are actively asking people for advice as well, and you have no problem with that. I don't know. So it's either this or that, but it feels like when it comes to guidance, This is your strength. On the receiving end or on the giving end, that's for you to decide. And the external circumstance, it feels like there is some obstacle related to maybe studies or some hard work, grinding, working on something. Maybe it's something that is taking up a lot of time. From whom? Maybe from you, maybe from your partner. So it involves a lot of this routine involvement, a lot of everyday things that you have to put in order to progress with something else. So basically this is probably the situation around. So from here, I have a couple more questions. So the first one is, what is your own experience with guidance, either on a receiving end or on a giving end, can give you in this situation? How can you use your experience with receiving guidance or with giving guidance to others help you in this situation? Maybe you will think about someone who could give you really great advice, or maybe you will think about yourself as being your own guide. Maybe if you are good at giving the words of encouragement to other people, how about giving this to yourself? So like, find this connection to the guidance. So when it comes to timing, it feels like something might be happening in the next week or maybe in the next 7 months. This is unclear. However, it's some sort of experience that will lead to the situation evolving. Not necessarily a good or bad experience, but something that you will probably gain some lessons from, and this will help the situation to move forward. Yeah, as it is, we continue to immediate steps. And immediate steps is some sort of change. There is this saying, it's craziness to do the same thing over and over again and to expect a different result. So probably in this situation, there might be something that you could do differently right now, like completely differently. Try a different approach. So for instance, if you've been very patient, then try to be a little bit more proactive. If you think you have been lacking patience, just rest and wait a little bit for the situation to settle down. Or if you've been doing something else, try something different. So probably it's so this might be an interesting way to explore. And my next question for you is, what is it that you can try to do differently in the situation? Just an experiment, just to see what happens. Just to see what result it might bring. What is it that you could do differently? And the overall approach here is, it feels like you have to make a decision, or you will have to make a certain decision. And the decision is not always easy, as you know. It's like a fork in the road, like on this picture, and it's like sometimes there is a doubt about the decision, especially after you've taken it. You start to doubt a little bit whether it's right or wrong. And it feels like in this situation, there's something to decide. It might be a course of action. It might be some sort of a movement forward, or even a decision based on some sort of a guidance or intuition. So I would like you to consider for a second, taking your situation into account, what decision is important to take. And if you think about this, also please consider what resources could you use to make this decision. Whether it's your own gut feeling, connection to your intuition and your own internal sense of direction. Maybe it's someone who could give you a good advice on this, or maybe something else completely. Maybe even waiting out and seeing the situation progress. So what is it that can make your decision making easier for you? And the last one is the relationship between the situation and your whole life. And it feels like there is some sort of a progression. It's not stagnant, it's evolving. Something is uncomfortable here. Something is definitely in conflict with something else. So it's not completely smooth. So the progression is a little bit difficult. And maybe there is something else under the surface that is happening right now. So I'd like you to consider where you'd like this situation to progress eventually. And sometimes a good way to do it is to imagine one way and then the other way. However, when you imagine each way of development, take a second and no, more than a second. Let's say take a few minutes at least to really feel this development. Not only logically thinking about it, but more like immerse yourself into this as if it is happening right now, and get this connection to your feelings as well. What do you feel about this progression? So if it goes this way, how would you feel? What would happen? What else would happen? What else will you feel? And how will this affect your life? And after taking a few minutes to do this, you can switch and imagine this other progression, a different direction. And again, ask yourself the same question. So immerse yourself in this completely and ask yourself a few questions about this other direction that is possible. How will you feel then? What will this progression bring to your life? What else will be affected? What else will happen? And I wish you a lot of success and a smooth ride with this, and to be well. I'm sending you good vibes. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so in this case, it feels like the question is about some sort of a training, some sort of a learning, acquiring knowledge, mastering something. This is quite a strong combination of cards. The Magician and the King of Swords has to do with a lot of skills, developing abilities, and also with a lot of logical thinking. So probably you are thinking about taking a training or progressing in a way that is different from what you're doing right now, or maybe completing a certain training. So your goal is probably to conquer the world in a way. So it's probably something to do with your calling. So you feel like you are progressing into this new area and you really want a huge success in this area. You want to spread your message, to be heard, and to make an impact on the world, probably. So if this resonates with you, I invite you to watch further. If it does not, no big deal. Yeah, so, check back in later. Thank you. Okay, so probably an obstacle that you're facing is that this thing is quite new for you. So maybe you started this training or some sort of learning, and it's a steep learning curve for you. It's something new that you're doing, but you really feel passionate about it. It's a new path, maybe. And probably it's something that is uncomfortable and a little bit difficult because it's new. And maybe you have a little bit of difficulty with new things sometimes. So when it's something out of the ordinary, something you've never done before, it might feel slightly overwhelming. So my first question would be, what is it that can help you on this way, in this new beginning, to be more comfortable, to be more at ease with things? Because starting new things is always a little bit difficult. There are obstacles on the way. However, you might think about a few things that can make this transition easier and even more fun for you. What is it for you personally? Because your strengths here, yeah, it's reversed, but it doesn't matter. I don't use reverse cards. Your strength is probably you're good at managing your emotions. Yeah. Or you are developing this ability of managing emotion. Maybe you're good at dealing with situations related to uncertainties. And this is a rare quality. I'd say people don't like uncertainty. but maybe it's something that excites you, that maybe you like this in your life. You're thriving in a situation that is not completely clear. Some elements are on the surface, hidden from the sight, and maybe the complexity of it is something that excites you. So really many pieces at work at the same time. Does it ring a bell? I hope it does. Maybe it's related to your emotional balance, to your even intuition. Maybe you have a strong connection to your intuitive thinking, to your like feelings, and this might help you take decisions that are not easily obvious from the logical point of view. So I invite you to think about, what is it that is your strength in this? What is the mysterious part that you are connecting with? Maybe it's even something related to spiritual work. If your new path is related to spiritual work, it looks like it's something that is near and dear for you, maybe. And the outside circumstances are such that they are very favorable, probably. Despite the fact that the situation in the world is uncertain, it feels like you have some bases. So it's not very stressful right now. It feels like you have gained certain wealth and certain support from your environment. You have enough to be able to gain more knowledge in this new area of interest, to pursue your dream of spreading the word and becoming an expert and helping people, maybe even around the globe. Right now it's not something uncommon when people start to work online and they have clients all over the world. So it feels like the situation in general is favorable, and probably you are someone who takes reasonable risks, but mostly is really concerned with being stable at the same time, so not rushing into things, but taking precautions, and it feels like it's something that helps you. So when it comes to the timing, it probably it's a bit uncertain. So the situation will evolve and it will demand flexibility. Something interesting might happen in maybe 3 months period. Maybe some changes will happen, but it's not that clear. So the situation will probably change in different directions. And it's something to be prepared for and to be okay with, I suppose. So I will ask you one more question before we move forward. Out of your other circumstances that you are in right now, what is it that can help you, support you even more on your new path? What is it that can be of great support? Maybe someone, maybe something that can give you some extra support so that you feel certain and comfortable with your advancement. Feels like the next steps are about awakening to something. A certain important information is coming up. Not only just a piece of information, but it might be a epiphany. It might be some sort of a revelation, something important. Maybe even taking this training or being involved in this mentorship or any other situations involving the up-leveling of your skill might bring you some sort of a realization, awakening, and inspiration that will propel you onto your path. So I wonder if you think about this, if it's something that is happening in 3 months period, it's interesting, but not necessarily. What is it that could bring you more insights in the nearest future? What is it that could inspire you profoundly? And if the answer comes to you right now, it's okay. It's great, actually. If it doesn't, it's okay too. So probably you will see some development in the future. And when it comes to the overall approach, again, we have a great card of long-term goal, the star. So it feels like you really are up to something great. And it's not just a fade, it's a long-term project. It's something important over a period of maybe years, long-term. So it feels like you are passionate about it and you're ready to build this for the upcoming years, to put your effort into it because you feel like it's yours and it's important, which is great. Yeah, we got Tower. The Tower is the card everyone's afraid of. However, I really like to talk about it in a different way, because you feel like there is this whole progression of your life into something beautiful and long term. Now, the relationship between this situation and your life, it feels like you will have to rebuild a lot. So probably even right now, stepping onto this new path, being in this uncomfortableness of beginnings, you will find that something in your life should be rebuilt, or maybe even destroyed. Some parts might need to go under a major reconstruction. So maybe this is what it says. So rebuilding. The major question is, what is it that you might want to rebuild in your life? What part of your life needs a major remodeling? Maybe a change from the ground up, so that you are really prepared to pursue your goal and to move forward. So the other question that might come up is how this situation, how this progression, how this new path can impact your life. So how will this new path make your life different? How will it impact certain parts of your life that you'll probably need to reshape completely? So the question is, what's the relationship between this project and your whole life? Because in life we have many things, right? We have family, friends, social life, we have hobbies, we have of course professional development and service and volunteer work, all sorts of things. You might find something else that is relevant here. So the question is, how will this path and lots of energy and resources put into this place affect your whole life and create a certain situation where you might probably need to change certain parts of your life? So what would that be? And thank you so much for watching. I wish you a lot of success. I wish you this long-term progression and this painless rebuilding, and to be on your way. It feels like you're up to something great. So I really wish you a lot of success with this. I will reshuffle and then I will do the Celtic Cross again. So this is a Celtic Cross I use. It comes from Richard Knight, the best psychic and tarot coach in UK. Okay, great. So in this question, I will ask you to think about whether it resonates or not, and then to decide whether you want to continue or not. Feels like you've been doing something in many directions, and it feels exhausting, and you are wondering when this might change for you, especially this hard, difficult feeling, emotional side of it. So probably you've been involved in different projects, and every one of them is asking for your emotional involvement, and it might get really overwhelming. So probably you are feeling like you are not getting what you've been hoping for. Maybe you feel like you are really overwhelmed with this. So your goal might be to advance. So yeah, sometimes when we are doing something in different directions, for sure we can feel like we are not progressing, because our energy is spread out. It's like dispersed everywhere. So yeah, that's probably an issue. But if this resonates with you, I'll invite you to watch further. If not, no big deal. Thank you for being here nevertheless. So maybe your goal is to progress. And you know, I always remember this little picture from the internet when there is a circle with energy inside, and all the arrows, short arrows of the same length are going out of the circle. And there is this other circle with energy inside. There's one strong and long arrow going out. Yeah, so it might Maybe you are feeling something like, okay, in this situation, I'm in this circle with lots of small arrows going in all directions. How can I make it work for me, right? So the obstacle might be oh, that's interesting. So it might be that something that you are doing too much. You're in this constant mode of acting upon things, reacting to things, and making them happen. And it feels like you hardly ever take a rest. Am I mistaken? Is it correct? Tell me in the comment below. So if this is the case, then it might be very interesting to sometimes just take some time off. You know, reflect, unplug, rest for a bit, maybe even meditate, maybe take a break, maybe take a day off if you can, to get back to your senses, you know, settle down. Would you like to take a deep breath right now? Let's do that. Why not? Okay. And out, relaxing all the way down. Quiet. This is one possibility. The other one is probably that you are taking some time off just because of the sheer overwhelm that you're experiencing, and this might hurt your progression. So it feels like there is a prioritization to be made. I don't know if it's correct. Let's think about it. It feels like you are really good at taking decisions, logical decisions based on facts, something that is certain, something that is backed up by, you know, solid information, not just any decisions or new ideas that come up out of nowhere. You like to take decisions based on solid facts. So you are really, it seems like you have a really clear thinking when it comes to new ideas. You're really clear about whether it's a good idea, it's a bad idea, and how to make it work. So the overall circumstance seems to be very favorable actually for your development. It seems like there is a progression. Even if it's not obvious right now, it feels like there is a certain good progression that you are witnessing, or you will be witnessing very soon, even in terms of your financial gain out of the situation. So it feels like, you know, your advancement is happening. So your goal is, you're getting closer to it. Feels like maybe the next stepping stone is to take a certain decision or to find a certain balance, which is possible here. If you have lots of things happening at the same time, and boy, I understand that, then probably finding a balance between these things and also your well-being, of course, will help you to progress. And even sometimes taking some time off and reflecting and just being lazy, as weird as it sounds, might help you move forward. I don't know if it speaks to you. So my question here will be, what balance would you need to find in order to progress? Balance between what and what? We can find balance between different things. Balance between our professional life, our personal life. Active doing and reflection. Maybe a balance between different projects. So how much time you dedicate for this one or for that one? How much energy are you ready to spend on this and on that? So it's your decision. What balance are you looking for? What is it that can help you to move forward? I'm kind of trying to hide from the sun. Wait a sec. Okay, that's better. I hope it's better for you. So the next immediate steps. Now, when it comes to immediate, oh, look at this, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups is marvelous. It's again a card of progression, but it feels like some sort of relationship might be involved in your progression. Is it communicating with other people, getting in contact with others? Is it getting together in a responsible way under the circumstances? Is it something else? Is it your emotional fulfillment? Something related to emotions and relationships. So my question would be, in this situation that you are working on, what is it that it's important for you? Maybe it's not directly related to your project. Maybe it's a side thing, some sort of a networking maybe, not formal, but in a way that you connect with people with similar interests. You know what I mean? So what is it that involves relationships and emotions that could help you move forward, even if it seems not related to your project? The overall approach, it feels like in this case, you are almost obligated to look outside of the box, to find unusual solutions, or something very creative is involved. There might be a delay in this progression. However, it's not something crucial. It's more like finding your way and finding this unusual and wonderful way to move forward that is yours. So it's not a standard thing that you are doing. You're doing something maybe even extraordinary. You are merging things together, maybe. So my question is, how will you find the connection between all the different elements from different things that you are doing? How can you merge them together? How can you find this creative approach? Because creativity is all about merging things, right? Putting them in an unusual relationship, in an unusual mix, if you want. So I wonder, in this situation, what is your creative approach? What can help you to merge things in an unusual combination that will help you to move forward as well? So, and this, oh, this is marvelous. Look at it. So thinking about the relationship between your project or multiple projects and your life in general, it feels like it's a really great one. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that will make you feel fulfilled, that will make you feel emotionally energized, and maybe even will bring more happiness on your personal level with your relationships. If the question was about relationships and not a project, that's a great opportunity to think about how you can apply your creativity to your relationships. How can you act outside of the box? It feels like the overall situation is quite favorable, and it's heading towards this emotional fulfillment. So the advancement is there, and the possibility is absolutely there. It's just a question of maybe taking a step back, finding this creative approach, this new thing to do, and maybe even connecting to other people in a new way, maybe rekindling old connections and benefit from that, and also finding a balance. So if something is overwhelming, it's not sustainable. So it's something that demands a little bit of time off, maybe, or being put aside temporarily, maybe. So I invite you to think about what is it that can really go to the background, and what is it that is important to continue to move forward with. So this is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so very much for watching this till this point. So if you'd like to have a free 30-minute reading, please inquire. The link is down in the description. I would love to connect. Let's talk and see you. Bye-bye.